That's huge. Like he just graduated like oh God, say a little prayer.
I think, is that loud enough? Yeah, okay, just talk about it. I am Debbie Johnson. This is, today is May 20th, 2026. I do that because I am videotaping, and sometimes I get there and go, yes. I go by what I was wearing or something. So, this is Freshly Brewed Poems. I recognize a lot of people here. Freshly Brewed Poems got started during COVID when I was chosen for an open mic. And we hooked up with Larry's Coffee, and we were putting our poems onto their website. We kind of outgrew their bandwidth, so we started doing live ones once we could do live ones in 2021. Outside, of course, but it was really a nice venue over there. This place, we've been here probably, I'm thinking, 3 years. My daughter went to high school with Zach, so that's kind of a little the way we got into this. But they have some bizarre things. Somebody else was mentioning how different the things that are here. You get basic workshops, you get, athletic things. So anytime that you're around here, come and stop in and support them. So we do, trying to think of everything else up here. We do 3 poems each. If you're a spoken word or a prose person, limit yourself about 5 minutes if you could, so we can get everybody in. Got a nice group, I'm really happy. I wasn't here last week and last month because a lot of you might have known that I had brain surgery. It's kind of a weird thing to tell people. I had a benign tumor that they had to go in there and get. They shouldn't tell you all the horrible details, but they didn't have to cut my head. I had to go somewhere else, so that wasn't fun. And that was the rubber hose, my daughter keeps saying. So, so that's gotten taken care of. And I'm still kind of in recovery, so if I kind of get a little loopy, I'm going to pull the brain tumor card and say that's what it was. I got lost going to Snoopy's. I'm just going to pull that card. So I will start. I'm trying to think of anything else that I've forgotten. Does anybody have any questions about, the procedure or anything like that? So that's cool. Awesome. Well, I had planned to do something else, but it didn't work out. So I'm going to go to my little trusty little book here. And I always like to, my friend Steve here, my friend Steve, it's very helpful in setting everything up. So these terrible poems are not about him. Not about him. Okay. Just this one's called Heart-Torn Symmetry. You tore my heart in half, folded it first and ripped it for symmetry. My equally divided heart in each of your hands slipped slowly to the floor where you stomped on it. Jump up and down on it, do a little dance, get down tonight, smashing it like a spent cigarette. But you picked it up, oh my, to flapjack it into a butter churn, where you pulverized it painstakingly to butter, drawing it out with a knife, you slathered it on a cracker and eat it. I was like that. Okay, and then this one's a little sweeter. So this one could be that. So let's say it's fancy. Just you and me. I like the way you touch me, gentle and passing, loving and decided, just you and me. The world is quiet still, just focusing on now, just you and me, watching a leaf fall, twist and let go, gentle in passing, just like you and me. And, this last one I actually wrote when I was, I think, 17, maybe, because I found it in one of my books, 1972, I think it was. So This one's called, it's showing my age, aren't I? I was thinking last night how I wished it were the morning instead of the evening. For if it were the morning instead of the evening, I'd be waiting for you instead of missing you. So that's 59, and so I think the next person is going to be Jeffrey, and I'll try and get the list of who's after Jeff. Jeff, I met at 5 Points. He comes to our other open mic, which is on the first Wednesday of every month during the afternoons. We do it a little bit different. There's no microphone and stuff. We just kind of sit around and read poems to each other. So if you guys have an afternoon free on the first Wednesday of every month, please come to 5 Points and do that with us.
This is actually it's almost based on a historical day that is kind of memory hold. I'm probably the only person that was alive that certainly remembers it when it occurred. But it left an impression on me since October 15th, 1969. The week I was trying to wrap my head around Bob Dylan's lyrics to Lay, Lady, Lay, Donnie Decker wore a black armband to school. I could not believe how much shit hit the fan. Donnie was a twerpy 7th grader of no particular distinction. The armband made him kind of look like a moron. What a loser. I mean, what was the point? At recess, Mr. Oates told him to take it off. We all figured that would be the end of it. But Donnie declined. Now things were getting interesting. I mean, he was not generally known to be a wise guy, though suspicions might have been aroused by his borderline long hair, and it was said that he had a Jimi Hendrix album. I really liked Mr. Oates, who taught us about the Declaration of Independence, how Americans overthrew tyranny. We learned about the Constitution. He made us go over the Bill of Rights line by line, and gave us a test on it. He was definitely my favorite teacher, with a possible exception of Miss Bender, who every 8th grade boy loved, even though we knew she had a boyfriend, this guy Freddie, who taught at another school and drove a Pontiac GTO, V8 engine, 350 horsepower, and 440 cubes. Man, when he read that baby in the parking lot, everyone got excited. And Miss Bender flushed, which for some reason made us even more excited. As crazy as it sounds, Donnie was apparently not joking. Even when Mr. Oates repeated himself, Donnie declined. He wasn't trying to be disrespectful exactly. I mean, he wasn't giving him lip. We could barely hear it, but everyone agreed. He said no. It was all very exciting and weird. Donnie was not a juvenile delinquent. He wasn't trying to act like a tough guy. I doubt he had one hair on his balls, but here he was, refusing a teacher, this little twerp of no particular distinction. Now Mr. Oates' face turned colors. It was like he swallowed something hot, and he yelled. I mean, he exploded like a bomb. This scared me like nothing I've ever seen. I mean, Mr. Oates was the nicest guy, but now his face was bright red as the devil logo on my father's scraper blades. I never heard a human scream that loud. Even the time I got yelled at for painting basketball court lines in the driveway, and maybe one or two other times when I did something really, really stupid. But my father never yelled like that, and I definitely deserved it. And this was just a stupid armband. Everyone agreed it made no sense, because Donnie was just a little twerp of no particular distinction. I mean, he had to be crapping his pants, but I have to hand it to him. Even after Mr. Oates gave him a third warning, he looked him right in the eye. And once again, Donnie declined. This time he said, "Get away from me, Satan." Mr. Oates led him up to the principal's office. At the top of the steps, Donnie turned around, expansively spread his arms, smiled, and waved. They suspended him from school, and that was that. I still had no clue what to make of this, but for some reason I wanted to cry. Across the universe, things were coming apart. Even the Beatles were breaking up. A bad moon was rising, and I was seeing it. Anyhow, there was this kid, Joey Jones. He was okay, though kind of a know-it-all. He was the one who explained and drew a picture of what Dylan was singing about, which struck me as interesting but improbable. Anyhow, Joey claimed that it was Moratorium Day. And if you wore a black armband, it meant you were a Vietnam protester, or maybe a communist, which was hard to believe, because, as I've explained, Donnie was just a little twerp with no particular distinction.
You want to do more?
Well, it was a long stuff.
Well, you can do one more.
I'm really not as much of a downer as that sounds. I like to think of myself as a lighthearted guy, so I have a couple of football haikus.
Nice.
Time is suspended. The spiral hypnotizes. Violence is paused.
I forget haikus are short.
Hot dog money. Class trip day scintillated with summer sun. Everything smelled as fresh as lettuce and was colored like cat's eye marbles. Even the shadows divulged happy hues, which drenched him in a stream so invigorating, so splendid, his heart swelled. At every turn, new discoveries expanded the world and the possibilities it held for him. Motion was constant and perpetual, the Ferris wheel ticking clockwise, the roller coaster its counter, and the strongman striker going way up. And he felt strong too. He was a spinning top and felt the utter freedom born of the implicit sense of safety and the certainty that only good things and happiness would be his lot. In his aroused exhaustion, he remembered the money his mother gave him to buy a snack or souvenir. Confident he would make the purchase himself, he gave the man his money, and in return, a hot dog. But the man's shaky hand held not nearly enough change. He knew at once there was a mistake. He opened his innocent mouth, but was struck speechless with the shocking realization the man was dishonest and had underestimated his perspicacity. It wasn't fear that held him back from explaining the correct calculation. His astonishment yielded to anger, which yielded to pity, which yielded to forgiveness. Forgiveness for this pathetic man who sold hot dogs to little kids and stole their change. On the long bus ride home, he mused that everything is possible, but joy is ephemeral and must be tempered with caution. That even in a perfect, sunny world, vigilance is necessary, because even adults might lie. One last football haiku to lighten things up a bit. I dreamed of glory, but my puny little ass was thoroughly kicked.
Like I said, we do have Facebook Live, and Dennis, who's been here before, but he now lives in Texas, is online. And he said that he was a medic back there at Fort Sam Houston, which is where I was born, actually, Fort Sam Houston myself. And he said that he wore a black armband while he was a medic in the military. And that was the problem I had too, because my dad was a colonel and we were protesting. Because I was also editor of the high school newspaper, I would take little snippets from Bob Dylan and stick it in where we needed space. We got pulled before the school board because of one of them. So, yeah, it was touch your nose and blow your nose. Or touch your nose and blow your toes. And I was like, what? Anyway, so, about me? Let's talk about me. No. So then we have Anna, then Rainbow, and then Klaus. Awesome. Thank you, Jeff.
Around. Hello, hello, hello. So I have one poem from a collection in progress, which has been meant to be a companion to my last will and testament, so all the poems in it are directed or addressed to my two daughters. This is called Declarations. It's customary to begin with what you know. Name, state, and so on. A grade declaiming of something like sovereignty, straight-backed and unbothered by what's just a page turn away. The name is easy enough, but as for my state, let's just say that soundness of mind gets drier and less helpful by the year. So while this body, borrowed as it was from earth and time, still obeys, let me spin the color wheel of madness, sing myself electric, rave and profess to my close-held conjuring that the caught breath of a poem will sustain the long, low hum of a mother's love, and that the birthright of a poet's daughter is that she can trust herself to know what it all means. This is another one from the collection. It is a cento, which is to say all the lines are borrowed from poets, other poems that I love. And these come with much respect from Dennis Smith, Brenda Shaughnessy, Aga Shahida Lee, Jack Gilbert, Tony Hoagland, Bernard DeVoto, Anne Sexton, Lawrence Ferlinghetti, Eve L. Ewing, and Leon Stokesbury. Cento for comfort, if I choose palliative care. I know something that doesn't die can't be beautiful, that we are all haunted, that the world is full of paper and we must risk delight. This is the perfume of fermenting joy, the violet hour, the hour of hush and wonder. I have nothing against life, but I feel there is an angel in me, if not unblemished, suitably repaired, and I saw in her face that rest is possible. This is not from the collection. This was inspired by a third-hand story I read. There's a poet, she's on a New York Amtrak train. Train is full, and she's admiring, the scenery from her aisle seat, and the woman in the window seat next to her spends the whole ride shopping online and never once looks up at the scenery. And the poet said it was one of the saddest things she'd ever seen. This is called The Saddest Thing. Most any autumn day, I'd take the gazing to. The paint-by-number glory of sugar maple and smoke bush, window-blurred reverie, not endless, but enough to carry a body all the way home, or away, whichever. Except on one of those slippery, sad days when too much beauty is like ice underfoot, and my knees are bruised from crawling around in search of something that doesn't pierce, doesn't summon and spill my own rusting reds to match. I imagine her like this, reeling from the scenery before you even boarded, lashes singed on the flame kiss of landscape in motion, unable to endure another minute in the dream. As you stow that heavy bag overhead, the woman in the window seat calls truce with something sadder than you can see, opens the escape hatch of her laptop, finally ready to buy the funeral dress, the fruit box for her withered father, the onesie for the niece whose existence reminds her of the miscarriage. Who are we to tap anyone else on the shoulder, to assume we know what they're missing? Outside, in the set piece of leaves, orange as the heat of tears held for later when no one's watching, The young raven cries, and as if by miracle, without our help, is fed. For my part, I can only hope to hold it all feather-light. Fold the three of us gently within the truest words I ever overheard. You don't know how this started or how it ends. You have no idea what you're looking at.
Anna, before you tell us about Tongue and Groove. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. So I run an open mic in downtown Raleigh on every second Sunday in the afternoon at Art Space. It's called Tongue and Groove. You can find us just by Googling Tongue and Groove Open Mic Raleigh. We come up pretty quickly, either our meetup or the website, and we would love to have you come out. It's poetry, music, and storytelling.
She's my muse, by the way. I'm trying to be like her. So yes, Anna. Let's see. So we've got Rainbow and Klaus and then Sydney. So yes, I was going to say something else. What's up? Sure.
Yeah. Let's see. I just got.